Okay, it should work now. So yeah, I was saying I added this parent here with the grid class, and the grid class allows you to put every child inside this parent div in a grid. In particular, I specified that I wanted 4 columns, and I used this place item center to place the items centered horizontally. But what happens if I turn my browser into mobile mode? This. So the problem is that it is using the same exit class grid calls for the mobile mode as well, but it's not working, as you can see. So what can you do in this case? You can use something that is called tailwind breakpoints, and let's do it. You just need to add the dimension of the screen you want to use the breakpoint from, and then I'm sorry, I need to do it for this class here, and then specify the class that you want to use for mobile. So what Tailwind will do now, I will add some gap too. What Tailwind will do is taking this class for mobile, and for desktop it will use this one. If you pass your mouse over it, you can see what's behind this class, and it says 640 pixels. This means that every screen that is over this size, over 640 pixels in width, will use this class. And if we go back and reload, okay, it wasn't needed. Let me zoom a bit. Okay, I can't actually. Nice. Okay. As you can see now, they're put in a vertical way because I'm using grid calls 1. So I asked the Tailwind to put everything in a single column, and you can scroll them. This same thing applies, for example, to padding and everything else. So let's say that I want to remove this padding on mobile mode. If I go here, I can see that the padding on top and on bottom is 20, which is 80 pixels for a Tailwind. So I can use this one only if I'm in desktop mode, and it should remove this one. Okay. Let's say that I want some padding on top and bottom. I can use padding Y7, let's say, and we can see it will add some padding on top of it. So same thing, you can do it for the width of these elements here. I actually specify the width, fixed width of 360 pixels. So if I go inside the campaign component here and I go and check this one, this is applied for everything, mobile and desktop mode. But let's say we want something smaller for mobile. So what we can do here is saying that we want the full size for mobile, and we will make it smaller with some padding. And in desktop, we want a maximum width of 360 pixels. Let's go here. I think we already have some padding on the x-axis. Yeah, maybe too much also. Yeah. Let's reduce this one. Let's say I want to use this one only in desktop mode and use a little less padding in mobile mode. So this way, using Tailwind classes, I managed to convert my website to both mobile and desktop mode. And I don't know if you will have time to think about mobile mode during the hackathon, but maybe you are willing to develop a progressive web app, something that you want to use from mobile. So you have to keep in mind that if somebody opens it from the desktop, or on the contrary, if you're developing a desktop app and somebody will open it from mobile, they may have the UI completely broken because of this, because you didn't use breakpoints to signal Tailwind that you wanted a different style for mobile. And these were the breakpoints. Another thing I wanted to add is that actually scaffoldETH as let me search for it. I don't remember where it is. External. It has this file, external contracts, which is in the Next.js package under contracts. And if you add here a contract like this one, like the USDC contract with its address, its ABI, and also the chain from which you are taking the contract, you can use it in your front end like we were using the deployed contract that was crowdfunding platform. So if I go here, I did a little change because I was using WAGMI to call directly the contract using its address. But now I managed to use scaffold write contract, which is a nuke built in with scaffold, just by saying USDC, because USDC was the name that I gave to that external contract here, like this. And this is pretty useful because it will produce a function which is write to USDC contract. I named it like this with the double dots here. And with this one, you can await it. And before, for example, fetching the allowance again, as we were doing yesterday, and you just need to specify the function you want to use on this contract, the function, I'm sorry, that you want to call on this contract, and the arguments. So this is everything for this part. I want now to start going through speedrun Ethereum. As I was saying yesterday, this is a nice website where everything is gamified. You can go through all these challenges from the challenge 0, which is very simple. You just need to manage NFTs, to challenges that are pretty complex, like prediction markets, multi-signature wallets, or using, for example, an SVG for the NFT to make it change during its lifetime. So I will share with you this page, and we can start from the first one. In particular, what I want to do today is guiding you through this first challenge, and then I will help you going through the challenge number 1 and hopefully also the number 2. Let's see if we can, if we manage to. This one. Okay. So please go to this website. And the first thing you should do is connect your wallet. Here I was already connected, but we need to connect with MetaMask. And once we are connected, this is our profile that is created. I think you need to also sign a message to create your profile. And if we go inside this my portfolio page, you can see there are all the challenges. At the end of each challenge, we will actually deploy the contract on a testnet, which is Sepolia, which is the main testnet for Ethereum. And also we will deploy our front end in Vercel, which is very useful, especially when you will do the hackathon, because for judges it's important to have a page where they can go and check your code. Apart from the pitching that you will do to the judges, they may want to check your application again, and maybe the GitHub code is not enough because they can see what happens. They won't have actually time to understand everything that is in your repo, and having your application spinning somewhere, it's very useful, and I highly suggest you to do it. And we will do it for the challenges, so we will see how it is done. So let's start with the first one. Let me zoom it a bit. Okay. So we need to create a simple NFT. It says you'll compile and deploy your first smart contract, then you'll use a template Next.js app full of important Ethereum components and hooks, which is actually scaffoldETH. Finally, you'll deploy an NFT to a public network to share with friends, which is what I was saying about Vercel. The final deliverable is an app that lets user purchase and transfer NFTs, deploy your contract to a testnet, then deploy and upload your app to a public web server. Submit the URL on speedrunethereum.com. I think Okay, it's this page. Meet other builders working on this challenge and get help in the challenge zero Telegram. So every challenge has its own Telegram group. You can go there and ask for help if you need. If you have any questions during the challenge, you can try out the challenge AI assistant. This is new actually, and get answers to your challenge scaffolded questions. Please reach us in Telegram if something feels wrong. Another thing I noticed they added before we go ahead is this one, if it appears, this scaffolded AI. So if you need help during the hackathon, let's say, and you don't know something about scaffolded, you may try to ask this AI because it has probably all the documentation inside. It was trained on the scaffolded documentation. Just a good thing to know. So we already have all the prerequisites, and we need to launch this command here. So let's do it. Let me zoom it a bit. Okay. This is actually doing what we. Okay, great. Looks like they have some problems with this. Okay, this is something I actually don't know how to solve because I think it's on their side. I think what we can do is check if they have a GitHub repo and clone it from there. This is a repo of somebody else. It's the same one. Completed Let me try it with sudo. I don't know if it works. Otherwise, we can do something else for the lesson of today. No, it doesn't work. Okay, it looks like they have something broken. Nice. You have the same error, right? pretty disappointing. Let me write on Telegram. Maybe somebody can help us. Stai scrivendo tu, Lu? Stai scrivendo qualcosa? Chiedi tu questa cosa qui o è un altro... non c'entra niente? Ok, ok. Praticamente l'installer di Scaffoldit è spaccato e non so chi contattare per questa cosa. Tu c'hai un contatto di quelli di Scaffold? Chiedi un attimo magari a Gallo se c'è qualche cosa, intanto faccio qualcos'altro. Okay, so we are asking if we have a contact to solve this problem. In the meantime, I think we can go ahead with our app. We can add some more functionalities like taking back the money if you are the campaign creator. We may also see Framer Motion, which is a nice library for animations. So, what would you prefer actually? Seeing the library for animations or going ahead implementing other functions in our project that we did yesterday? Can you?
Animation is also important
Mhm.
if we want to work with some UIs like Outline and
Yeah.
this page to the other page. I think it's important to make it more attractive.
Okay, okay.
But you can use some simple animations, load some pre-made animations in production.
You can use Tailwind actually. There's some simple animations as we saw yesterday with the color change in the button. But if you want something more complex, there's this library called Framer Motion, which is pretty easy to use actually. If you just need to enter the mechanics, but it allows you to do fade ins, fade outs, like moving pieces of the page accordingly in base of what is changing. So
When we
yeah.
have some errors, in, for example, we show the present error with some animations.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's do it. Let's do something with our project from yesterday. Se c'hai qualche informazione, lui dimmi, ok? Mhm. Okay, so first thing we need to do is go to the Framer Motion documentation and install it. We select React because we used it yesterday. And we have just this npm install motion. Actually, I think since we are using yarn, we can do yarn add motion like this. So as you can see here, there are some examples of animations you can make, like this one. Probably the most used are for buttons because you want effects like this one, like scaling the button up and down. As you can see, when I click, it scales down. Or in this case, you can have animations that go while in view. So when this HTML tag is in view, I'm sorry, it triggers an animation. We have scrolling animation like this one, and a bar up there changes its size, and you can do it with this scale X. and use this hook from Framer Motion to track the scale, the scrolling of the page. So let's go in our application. Okay, yeah. Let's say we want to make these four elements to pop up when we load the page. So we can go here. We can go inside the campaign component. And what you need to do to use Framer Motion is simply add a motion dot in front of the element you want to make animated. Hmm?
You add it in top of the
On top of the element?
like this.
What do you mean?
You write motion dot
Mhm.
I think my opinion. You write it on top of the
Yeah, you just need to add it on top of the element and it works. Of course, you have to import the library, which is imported with this line here. Mi ha mandato il contatto di Kevin. And of course, you need to add the motion dot at the end of the closing tag as well. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, so now since we changed this element, we have a lot of new props that are very interesting. The first prop is initial. Initial says that this element has a particular behavior at the start of the animation. So let's say that we want to make it appear. So we can use the opacity 0. And let's say that we want to have it at y100 at the initial state of the animation. Then we have the animate prop, which is what kind of animation the element will do. So the transition is actually from this opacity 0 to this opacity 1, as it's suggested by cursor, and from y100 to y0. And I will show you in a second what this means. And then if we want, we can add also this transition prop here, which allows us to change, for example, the duration of the animation. Let's say 1 second, so it's a bit slower. And also, if we want, we can add a delay for the animation. And a cool thing we can do, since we are mapping these campaigns, we can use the index that I think we have here, yeah, this one, to create a different delay for each component. So I'm adding index multiplied by 0.1, let's say 0.2 for each component. So if we go here and we reload the page, we should see an animation for each one of these campaign. And as you can see, they appeared starting from Y100 and going to 0 and fading in actually, because the initial opacity was 0 and the ending opacity that is specified here in the animate is 1. So they're actually fading in. Let's put a faster duration for the animation. Let's see it again. So this way you can make your website a little bit more nice for the people that are seeing it. And for example, the loading state that we were using, you can actually make it fade in and fade out instead of making it appear without any kind of animation, which makes everything more smoother and nicer to see. So let's go here. We have this We have this loader here that appears when the campaigns are loading. If I reload the page, we can see at first there should be, yeah, this small loading state. Let's debounce it because it's very fast, so we can see the animation better. Not sure I have a hook called use debounce. Yeah, actually, I don't have it. So let me ask the AI to do it for me. I don't remember how to debounce. I'm sorry. So what happens here is that it added a use effect that triggers every time is loading campaigns changes, and what it does is actually waiting for 3 milliseconds. Let's put it 1 second and a half, and after this time has passed, it will set this state here that it created to the actual value of is load campaigns. In this way, it is debounced by 1.5 seconds. So we should see a longer animation for the, I'm sorry, a longer loading state. It didn't trigger actually. It should start at true, I think. Okay. So as you saw, it lasted a little bit longer than before. Let's put 2 seconds. At this point, we can start animating this loading state with fade in and fade out in order to have something more appealing than just seeing it appear like this and then vanishing out in without fading, making it disappear. So to do this, we need to wrap everything that we want to that we want to animate into a particular element called animate presence. So this animate presence tag will manage all the animations inside, so all its children actually. We of course need to import it from Framer Motion again. Okay. Another thing we need to add is this mode with the value weight. And this because we are asking the animate presence to wait until its children is completely unmounted before loading the other one. Otherwise, the animations are synchronized, and when one is disappearing, the other one is appearing. So it's not really appealing for the high side. This is better actually. And what we need to do here is giving to all these elements the motion tag as well. Okay, it actually suggested me this, which is okay. Okay, I think it's just importing. An important thing that you need to know is that when you're using animate presence, you can use another prop called exit. This will allow you to specify what's the exit animation for this component, for this element. I will remove this Y because otherwise it will move the loader up and down. I just need a simple fade in and fade out effect. So I will just use these three props here. And another thing you need to know is that animate presence need a key for each of its each of its children. Otherwise, it won't trigger the exit animation. So we will add a key. It it can be static like this, key loading. And then of course we need to add this here as well, because we want to animate also all the campaigns. For this one, I will use a key called yeah, campaigns. It's okay. And we need to close the tag as well. Okay. Let's put 1 second with the transition so we can see it better. Okay. Now, if everything worked, actually, you should see the fading in effect of this loader, then the fading out, as we saw, and then the animations of the campaigns getting in. So this is almost everything you need to know to create simple animations with framer motion. There are also other more complex props you can pass to each with each element tagged with motion. Um, but I think it would take a lot to explain them, and this is already enough to make your site more appealing than just using React with basic tailwind animations. This is already more complex. Like, for example, let's say, let me go to the button that we saw earlier. There are a couple more props that you can use. So to change the color for the button, we were using this, which is good. It's pretty useful because it's in line. It is very simple. But for the scaling, we were using also Tailwind. But let's say I want to use Framer Motion instead. To use Framer Motion when you are hovering an element or when you are clicking it, you just need to add this while hover prop, and you have to specify what happens when you're hovering. So let's say that I want to scale it 1.10. It will become very big. I was forgetting. You have to add motion button here as well. Otherwise, it won't work. And if we want to change its size when we are tapping, also you can use while tap, which is another prop. And you can say scale like 0.90, like this. So if we go here, we can see the animation is preserved. It's still here. This is the exact same animation we had with Tailwind. Maybe a little bit smoother. I think this is because it's the default style of the animation is in out, which is starting the animation very fast and slowing with time. If I click on contribute, it will become a little. Okay, I had an error, but this is not related to the animation itself. Let's scale it down a little bit more. I think this is going to interfere with this. Okay, now it works. As you can see, when you click on contribute, it will scale down because we specified it with this while tap prop here. We'll use more conservative numbers. Otherwise, the animation effect is too exaggerated. Okay, this is better, I can say. This is actually failing because the campaign expired. As you remember, yesterday I put 1 day as the expiration date for the campaign. So it reverted, and it's nice that it did it. Okay, let me write a second to the guys from Speedrun Ethereum, so we may solve this. Okay, so in the meantime, while they will answer, let's see if we can improve a little bit the experience of the user with this interface. In particular, we want to allow the campaign founder to retrieve the money if the campaign is completed. As you can see here, every campaign we created was completed because we contributed with all the amount, and they are actually expired in time. So I think we can retrieve the money from the campaign itself. So what we have inside the campaigns item is this. So we have the creator, which is very useful because we need to check if we are the creator of the campaign. Otherwise, we should not be able to get the money back from the campaign. We need to check the expiration date maybe, or I don't know if it reverts, but we will see in a moment. And probably the most important thing, we need to check the status, because the status must be completed, otherwise you can't retrieve the money. So let's go in the campaign. The first thing I want to do is to change these couple of elements here, the input box and the contribute, to something else if the campaign is completed and if we are the owner of the campaign. This is the button. So we will see these only if the campaign is active. So correctly, we are seeing that the campaign has ended, so we are not seeing anymore this part of the code. And as I did yesterday, I just added a curly bracket here and wrote TypeScript code inside. The return of this statement is actually HTML, but this is TypeScript. So if it's active, we will see this one. If it's not active, let's use a ternary operator here, which is better for what I want to do. We should have the address of the person, connected address, yeah. Let's use a two lowercase. Yeah, I have a little problem here because I didn't add the creator.
poi diciamo la verifica la vai a fare su questo, cioè qua ma cosa avete fatto?
I'm adding this to lowercase because sometimes the addresses are registered in different ways. Maybe what Solidity is returning. I mean, what the read from the blockchain is returning is not exactly the same thing that we can see from this connected address variable. So to match them, I'm using lowercase for both of them. So if we are the campaign creator, we should see a single button actually. Let's copy this one.
Però si potrebbe utilizzare ad esempio
Campaign status. Okay. Let's put it in another color, amber. Okay, and here we want to create another utility function. This is of course an async function because we are doing a write on the blockchain. Let's run it with a try, of course. And we can use this right to crowdfunding platform contract that we derived from this scaffold hook here. Oops. What did I do? Function name is, I think it's withdraw. Let me search for it. Yeah, as we can see here, the things we need to check are that the campaign is not claimed, otherwise it reverts. That it is not failed, otherwise it will revert with campaign failed. That we actually got over the expiration date, and we did it. And then at this point, the campaign changes its status to claimed, and there's an USDC transfer from the contract itself to the message sender, which is us. And of course, an event is emitted. So let's go back here. We want to withdraw. We need to add, of course, the args because we need to specify which campaign we are withdrawing from. And it is index +1. Let's catch the error and refetch campaigns. Yeah, it sounds nice. This is not needed actually, and this is not needed as well. So we can go here and call the handle claim funds like this. So since we are okay, let me. I noticed that this is a little bit out of place. This is because everything is inside this div element, which is not specifying the justification of the content. So let's put a couple of justifications, one uh, for the vertical axis and one for the horizontal one. And I think this should solve the problem. Yeah. It actually justified also the thing in the bottom of the bottom part. Yeah, because they are part of this, I think. Okay, let me change this. Let me add a parent here, which does pretty much the same thing. Okay, so we have our pattern to claim funds. One thing we may want to do is check if we are in the process of claiming these funds. And to do this, we can add a state, a loading state. So on top of this, let's add a is claiming state. It's hearing me probably. Is claiming funds. So, is claiming. The idea is that we will change this state when we are claiming funds and use this state, for example, to disable the button, to change the text inside to, let's say, it's claiming it, or loading. So let's go inside our hand helper function we created here, and let's add set is claiming funds to true. And finally, when everything is over, let's set the state to false. With this state now we can change, for example, what's inside the button. Let's go here. Let's add a disabled prop, and the button is actually disabled if we are claiming the funds. Another thing we can do, of course, is trigger this scale only if a condition is met. So we can use this same state here to say that the button starts from 1. I'm sorry, it doesn't scale because it scales to 1, which is the basic scale when it's overed, and it scales to 1 again when it's tapped if we are claiming funds. This way, if we click again on the button, no animation will be triggered. It is also suggesting me something here that I already know what it is. It's actually changing also the animation for the Tailwind class we used earlier. So let's accept this. What happened here is that we are using an evaluated string with a backtick, as you can see here. And it is saying if it is claiming funds, the opacity will go to 50%. The cursor will change to not allowed, even if I don't really like it. I just want to have it cursor default. The cursor is the mouse pointer, actually. And I want it to stop doing anything while overed. So let's say BG Amber 500. So the color doesn't change if it's claiming funds. To test it, because it's simpler, we can just add a not in front of it, which is something that I already told you yesterday, to check if a state in the other state does what you want. And as you can see here, it's not really doing what I want because it's changing the color, but at least it is not scaling as we thought using this. If it's claiming funds, yeah, of course, because this is coded here, but we want it only conditionally if it's not claiming funds. I mean, yeah. And as you can see, it doesn't change color anymore. If we click on this, since it's disabled, the function is not triggered. Okay, let's restore this because we stopped testing. And another thing we can do is change the text that is inside the button conditionally. So for now we have claim funds, but we don't really know when it is claiming funds because the text doesn't change. So let's add this. If it's claiming funds, the text will change to claiming. Otherwise, it says claiming funds. If we want to have something more complex, we can, of course, have it. Like, for example, putting a loader inside the button while it is claiming funds. Let's test this by putting a not in front of it. It should change the text. And this is the text when it is claiming funds. Okay. Let's test this function to see if it works. It should trigger, yeah, it triggers the thing here, MetaMask. And just before going ahead, I want to add another thing. So right now we are checking if the campaign is active. If it's active, we see the input and the button. If it is completed and we are the campaign owner, it will show this other thing, this other button to claim funds. But what happens if we are not the campaign owner? So we need to check also if the campaign is completed but we are not the campaign owner. And thanks to short circuiting, we just need to use this, because if we are the campaign owner, it will stop here and will load this one. Oops, sorry. Okay. If we are not the campaign owner, let's say that it will show just a text. Okay. Simple text saying campaign completed. And if nothing of this is true, the campaign, it means the campaign is already claimed, but let's check it to be 100% sure that it is like this. Claimed. We can add a last element that says campaign completed. Okay. So this way it is way more complete than before. Now let's try to claim funds. Just let me check if why this didn't change to the loading state. Ah, yeah, because I forgot an await here. Come on. Okay, it will become purple later. Okay, and as you can see, right now we are in the state of claiming funds. So the button is disabled. We cannot click it anymore. We just need to go there in MetaMask and accept this transaction. As you can see, once it is claimed, it will change because we checked if the state of the campaign was claimed. And if so, we added this. So this way you can match the state of your application. Now, I didn't put animations for this one, but as we saw earlier in the page, if you want, you can add an animate presence and use the framer motion tags to animate all the changes in the card as well. So let's say you want to change the animation to have a fade in and fade out for the button and the texts, for example. No answer yet from them, unfortunately. Let me improve a little bit the style here. Okay. So as you can see here, this one became smaller because if you're using flex as a class in Tailwind, it defaults to becoming the smallest possible parent uh, based on what's inside, what the childrens are of this parent. So in this case, we have these children inside the parent and they are smaller than these children. So you can see there's an inconsistency here. To fix this, let's get this div here, which is for the button is this one, for the paragraph is this one, and let's use a fixed size. So let's go to the if it is active, that's what we saw before. Let me check if it's not active, how it changes. This should become bigger actually. Come on. I'm sorry. I need to wrap everything with parentheses, of course. Okay. Let's change this to have them side by side. So we have, yeah, something similar for the size we want to use. Contribute. Okay. Let's match the roundness with round full, and we should have something that is more similar with the next state that we will see in a moment. Now we need to add fixed size for this one. This is the bottom, this is the div containing everything. So let's say we want at least this one is 39 pixels high. So let's say that we want 42. It should fix the size to 42. Oh my god. I forgot that I needed to use, of course, the, the size in pixels. Otherwise, the H42 is like a lot of pixels for a tailwind. Okay, now it works. As you can see here, the size is fixed now. And we can use the same exact I for both this one that contains everything in this state, this one, and this one. Okay. And as you can see now, we have something more consistent than before, which is surely more appealing to the eye compared to what we saw earlier. Just be careful when you're using fixed size, because if you put something inside that is bigger than that size, it will overflow and it may create some strange effects on the UI. Still no answer from the guys of NapulETH. Okay, what else can we do now? Let's try maybe to improve this card using AI at this point, because as you can see, the card is not really appealing. We may do it better, of course. So an AI that I suggest you for hackathons, because you can use it to bootstrap your UI is v0.dev. let's take this card. Let's ask the AI to improve its style, just because we don't have anything more to do. Um, the, let's see what it produces. Of course, if you have a designer, you don't want to do this, otherwise they will be very sad about that. It will change it anyway, but still. So I noticed that I'm passing arguments to this function, but actually we can use the arguments that are inherited from this component. Where is it? Handle contribute. Campaign ID is actually index +1, and this one is like this. Okay. So let's see what it produced. Probably it's better than my work. Okay. Yeah. Actually, it is nicer, even if the size is not really not really in place. But yeah, I actually like it. So let's see if we can change the height somewhere. This is the width that it is using. Let's use something a little bit smaller. Let's see if it works. A little bit better. As you can see, it used the motion div to add some effects, like this little effect on the color. Well, anyway, this was just to show you that if you want, you can bootstrap your components in style, or even the whole page, and then put your hands in the code to change it later. This is very useful, since when you have 40 hours to complete your project, maybe you don't have a designer, you're not very skilled in designing things, you can ask the AI to do it for you. Of course, there are some things you can improve. For example, let's say this misalignation, oops, this misalignation here. You can, of course, fix the size of this part here to make it, my god, the same size of this, and avoid this horizontal misalignation. Also, I can see here this one is a little bit bigger. This card is a little bit bigger than this one. So maybe we can fix the size in the height for this card and solve the problem. But anyway, it can come in hand if you don't have much time and you want something that is ready. Of course, V0 is very skilled in framer motion. As you saw, it created some style as well. But if you want to ask him, you can say, please use framer motion, be sure to use Tailwind, be sure to create React components to make the code tidier. So it's pretty intelligent, and I'm afraid it will steal our job in the future. So they still didn't answer. Nice. Let me think what we can do. We showed all the campaigns, we claimed our funds, we contributed. Um, that's pretty much everything for the for this smart contract. If it was more complex, maybe we could have added something more. So I'll say let's do a pause now. Let me think if there's something else we can do, like a 15-20 minutes pause, and we can meet again at 10 minutes to 4.
Quanta importanza hai dato una qualifica, un corso, in maniera quanto, quanta importanza hai dato al fatto che il corso ti lasciasse sia riconosciuta, leadership, così come si fa in ogni se cambiando il concetto, quante importanza della sociale, quante importanza della scienza, chiari, esperienza, poi un aspetto mi ha abbassato un po' il costo comunque è super alla fine ha bisogno di tante no, non dobbiamo bloccare niente, non bastano 50 non chiedi l'amico che lo scegliamo. Oggi sarà l'ultimo giorno per possibilità di stare dietro
start again.
però due pezzi diversi. Lì sono 7-8 fasce di prezzo diverse.
Okay. So let's start with the challenge. The first thing we need to do is clone this repository. I tried to clone it with the HTTPS link, but it didn't work. So what I suggest you to do is download the zip file. I think I already sent this. Yeah, this one is the link. I sent this to you already. And once you have it, just tell me because we can start following the tutorial. I think. Okay. Are you going to follow the tutorial with us? Okay. So what? No, it didn't. It downloaded me the main repository, which doesn't have this challenge. Downloaded me this, which is pretty useless. I simply went here to the challenge 0 simple NFT v0. I downloaded the zip by clicking here on the green button and extracted it. And download zip. I downloaded it here. Let me do it again. Ciao. Extracted the file. Now if I extract the file, it will give me an error because I already have it here. But anyway, once it is extracted, I opened it with cursor and launched, not here, I launched it in a terminal, but you have to launch yarn install because you have to install all the packages of this project. Yeah, we'll wait for you. You're ready? Okay, yeah. Let's wait until everything is installed. Anyway, just to go a little bit ahead, as you can see here, it asks for a yarn chain, which is the command to launch the local blockchain. And then we will deploy the contract and it will be deployed in the local blockchain. And then we will start the front end, which is something I already did, but just to test it if it was working.
This deployment is exactly the Solidity we wrote for the project and just put it to this project.
I think they have a deployment script that is written in JavaScript this time because it is using Hardot, but it's pretty the same thing as Foundry. It's a framework that allows you to deploy to the blockchain, to interact with the live blockchains, and also write your scripts like these ones. Let me check it. I think there's a deployment script here. Yeah, no. It's of course this one is a bit different from Foundry, but yeah, I think they don't have the Foundry version of the speedrun Ethereum challenges. I hope we don't need to change the deployment and the deployment scripts and the scripts here in this folder. Otherwise, we need to write them in JavaScript. But it shouldn't be that hard in any way. Errors? What kind of errors? Let me check.
Allora, a questo bisogna rispondere che possono essere guarda, con questa cosa qui io rispondo concretamente questo alla fine da che diventare
So yeah, the first yeah, it works. The first thing you need to do is yarn chain to spin the local blockchain. Mhm. Okay. And what happens here is that you can see a lot of burner wallets. I think, yeah, 20 of them. Each one has some Ethereum inside. I think the wallet used to deploy is the first one, but I'm not sure. We will check in a second. So let's deploy the contract. Okay. It compiled. Okay. It was deployed at this address here by, let's see, from F39, which is the first one, F39. So yeah, the first burner wallet is actually used to deploy contracts. So now that we have the contract deployed, we can do yarn start. I already did it in the first terminal here, so I have it opened already. Let me reload it because probably didn't load the contract that I deployed. If I go in debug contracts, I'm expecting to see the contract that we just deployed. Yeah, your collectible, it was deployed here at 5FB, etc. And if we click here, we can grab some funds from the faucet. I think you, no, maybe we never did this because we always used scaffold ETH with the testnet blockchain. But since we are on locally spin blockchain, we can grab funds as much as we want, and they will be used to mint the NFTs, transfer them, etc. So let's go to our guide. So checkpoint number one, gas and wallets. Okay, we already did this. So we grabbed some funds from the faucet, and you can disconnect if you want, but don't do it. And it specifies that we are using burner wallets on localhost. As I said, these are wallets that will cease to exist after we close the locally spin blockchain. There is a small guide on how to see how they work. Another thing you have to know is that when you are here in a scaffold ETH, if you open another window in private mode like this one, and we connect to localhost 3000, we will see that the burner wallet that loads in this other private window is not the same that we have here. This is another one. We can grab funds from this faucet for this burner wallet as well. And this will be very useful because we need to exchange NFTs during this challenge. So we need a couple of wallets, otherwise it's impossible to see this transfer. So let's put them side by side. Oops. Now the checkpoint number two is minting an NFT. If we go in my NFTs page, we can see there's a button that if we click, it uploads to IPFS. That is what I was telling you before. So the idea is that an NFT, did Drone tell you what an NFT is and how it works? Did Drone tell you what an NFT is, how it works, how can have an image even if it's on chain? You don't know? Okay. So the idea is that everything you do on chain has a cost. If you are changing the chain state, you have to pay. And if you're uploading data on the blockchain, you have to pay as I mean, you have to pay related to how big this data you are saving on the blockchain is. So how is it possible that we are storing an image on the blockchain, which is notoriously way bigger than just text? We are not storing it on the blockchain, actually. We are using IPFS. So the idea is that what you can see here in this IPFS upload page is a JSON, okay, is a JSON that contains all the NFT informations. So there's a description, like it's actually a Bison, an external URL, which goes to this link. We can follow this link to see where it goes. You can see it's all the paintings from this guy, which is one of the guys behind Scaffolded. And what else? And here you have the actual image of the buffalo we saw before. This is the actual image, but this is not stored on the blockchain. This is stored in IPFS. So this object here is saved in IPFS, and what it is actually saved on the blockchain is a reference to this object. So what happens is that here, my NFT page, it is seeing that on the blockchain you have this NFT right here. Then it is extracting the link to this item on IPFS. It is going on IPFS, fetching this item, and only then it is loading the image. So it's a layered process, but it helps with avoiding storing things that are clearly too huge on the blockchain. Also, you have some attributes here, and actually there's a standard for it. I will show you in a second. There's a standard for metadata that was, I think, created by OpenSea, which is the biggest marketplace for NFTs. And as you can see here, if I zoom a little bit, the metadata of the NFT are correctly represented in the OpenSea interface, but this is not something that only OpenSea can do. You just need to get the metadata, extract what you want to show in your user interface. Like, for example, here the name is Herbie Starbelly, and you can show it in your front end. And this metadata is actually stored inside this object here. In this case, it has two attributes. I think, not sure. This is, yeah. As you can see here, the attributes key value here is part of this standard. And for example, let's see, yeah, the attributes you put there can be, of course, let me check. Side. I think these are the attributes that are inside the NFT you are minting. Yeah, base, eyes big, mouth surprised. Yeah, as you can see here, mouth is surprised. And you have an attribute called mouth with value surprised, eyes big, etc. So if you respect this standard, you can, for example, deploy your NFT smart contract, start minting NFTs for people, and people will actually have the possibility to go on OpenSea, list them, sell them, buy them, and everything you put inside the metadata, all the attributes of this NFT, of in this case of this creature, are listed by OpenSea as well, because OpenSea is using this standard. And I highly suggest you to adopt this standard in your applications, even if you are just doing the hackathon, because that way you can go to OpenSea and show the judges that that item is respecting the standards. Let's get back to the challenge. Actually, I think I can. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see now, this wallet here has a buffalo, and this other one has nothing. So let's mint something for him as well. Okay, he has the zebra. Let's go ahead with the challenge. Here he minted 3 NFTs. He's suggesting to open an incognito window and go there to localhost. Essentially, he's suggesting to do what we did before. Here it is saying that if we want, we can go inside our the yourcollectible.sol address and check how the smart contract is made. Probably this one is inheriting ERC721 as the smart contract that Drone did, because I remember he put the NFT feature that you receive an NFT if you are contributing more than a specific amount. Then it says to give it a look to the deployment script, but let's skip this. We don't have much time actually. And then if you want, of course, to edit your front end, you need to go inside the packages Next.js folder, inside the app folder, as we did yesterday with our project. It's exactly the same thing. Okay, now we need to deploy our contract. For now, we are using our contract on our local blockchain, but we need to deploy it on Sepolia. Just before going ahead, let me do just one transfer to show you how it works, and then we will go deploy on Sepolia. So here you can set a receiver address. Let's say I want to send this zebra to my friend here in the incognito window. Let's send it. The NFT goes away, and here it refetches, and you can see that this address here have both the NFTs. Okay, this one is pretty useless. You're just moving NFTs. The only thing you can notice is that I'm spending Ethereum to do this, because of course I'm changing the state on the blockchain. I'm saying, okay, now the NFT with the index 1, which is the zebra, is going, even if it's written true, but this is because of a user experience. Because of the user experience, this is actually inside the smart contract is the index 1. I'm sending. I'm giving the ownership of this one to the other address. I'm saying. Hmm? I cannot send it to you because now it's in my local machine. But when we deploy it on Sepolia, yeah, we can do it. And if you want, we can try it. Yeah, I just hope you can't access my system that easily. Otherwise, there's a problem. But yeah, in that case, you could, of course. Change it. Okay. So to deploy on the testnet, which is Sepolia, we need to go inside packages r.config.ts. r.config.ts. And change the r.userconfig to Sepolia. Okay, Solidity is the version. Okay, now it says we need to use yarn generate to get a new key. So let's go here. We can stop our local blockchain actually. We don't need it anymore. This one, you can close it. Let's launch yarn generate, and this one will generate an address to deploy our contract. So now it generated a wallet and the private key is saved into this .n file. The address it generated for us is this one. It says this local account will deploy your contracts, allowing you to avoid entering a personal private key. Actually, when we used Foundry, we had to add a personal private key. So this is nice from Hardot side. I like it. Then you can use Yarn account to view all the deployed addresses. So for example, if you want, since this ads can connect to local hosts, the other okay. Okay, so we need. Oh no, I closed it. Sorry. We need to send some Sepolia tokens to this address because, of course, otherwise we can't test it. It's not on the local blockchain. We can't grab the faucet, the funds from a faucet. We need to take them from outside, from a public faucet. It is suggesting. What is it? It is suggesting Alchemy faucet, Infura faucet, but probably the best one is this one from Google, which is pretty strange because it is Google. But anyway, this one should not ask anything. Alchemy and Infura asks you to have some real money on mainnet to do that, probably to avoid spam. Let's see if Google didn't change anything. Okay, it is doing something. You can check the transaction hash on the Ether scan for Sepolia. If you want to deploy it and follow with the challenges, I suggest you to do this because later we need to submit a challenge using our smart contract, the one that we deployed. So if you want to submit a challenge, please do this. Okay, the testnet tokens were sent, and we can check again with Yarn account if we have them. And as you can see here on Sepolia, we have a balance of 0.05 ETH. Okay. At this point, we can launch Yarn deploy. Since we set the Sepolia testnet as the current used blockchain, it will deploy on Sepolia. Okay, it is deploying. Let's see with this transaction actually. Okay, it is pending. Okay, I think it did it. It's indexing the transaction, but yeah, it did it and it deployed the contract here at this address, and we can check this address into Sepolia Ether scan. So this is our contract actually. It was correctly deployed, and we will use this address later to submit the challenge. Okay. Now we need to ship the front end. As I was telling you before, the front end will be shipped in Vercel. Vercel is a service that allows you to deploy your Next.js and Node apps without paying anything. Of course, if you don't have that much traffic in your application. The only limitation with this is that Vercel is a stateless server. This means that it can't run for too long and it doesn't keep the state of the application. So you can't save things in variables and expect that they will be there the next time you connect to the website. You need to use of course a database, and you have to be sure that the calls that you are doing to your backend are not taking too long to execute, because otherwise you will incur in timeout. But anyway, to use it for an hackathon, it is perfect. And as I was suggesting you before, it's very useful also for the judges that can go on your web application and see your project. So let's edit the front end configuration here in packages next scaffold.config.ts. And we need to change the target network to Sepolia. And now if we load again, let me close this one. This is not used anymore. I can put this here. Oh my God. Okay. Let me try to connect. Now it is asking me to connect the wallet from another source. Yeah, of course, because now we are on Sepolia. So let me connect my wallet here, this one. Let me switch to Sepolia. And here we can see our real wallet that is connected to this application. It also says that if we want, we can go into the scaffold config TS and change this only local burner wallet to true, probably to use the burner wallet we created before. It is already to true. Okay, so it's not taking it anyway. On every chain by setting, okay. Okay, now let's try to mint this buffalo again. I need some tokens actually. I will send it to my address. I have some Sepolia tokens on another address, so I'm sending them to myself. But if you don't have them anywhere else, you can just go to Google Faucet and take them from there. Okay, now I have some Sepolia ETH. Sorry. Now we can mint a buffalo or whatever else we will get. Okay, it uploaded the metadata on IPFS, sending a transaction that means our NFT. Unfortunately, Sepolia is a bit slow. Surely slower than base Sepolia, which is the testnet we were using yesterday. Okay, looks like it completed the transaction, and now we can see we have a buffalo. Nice. Okay, now we need to deploy using yarn vercel. So let's go here in the terminal, yarn vercel. It probably will ask us to log in. Yeah, of course. So I usually log in with GitHub, but I mean, if you have, for example, the login with email, you can use that one. Let's try with GitHub. It opens the Vercel page.
Not possible to
Hmm?
use SSH keys.
Probably. Let me check.
Just asking because I don't remember my upgrade.
Let me see, let me check. Ah, okay. I know this one is yarn deploy. Yarn. Let me see.
Never mind.
Okay. You have an error? Let me see. You get your address. Instagram has sent address.
He has no gas on
No, you can get it from
Ethereum settled. Okay, it was in.
for you sending the address to the Alchemy. The problem with Alchemy is that it asks you to have real money on mainnet to get the base the testnet tokens on.
Sorry? I tried to see the clouds because the sanctions usually for us. This bootcamp is honestly it's making less complicated to understand like in a lower level how that works. I do full stack, I do front end, back end,
Mm-hmm.
but Solidity matters. But when you relate Solidity with the front end and all the components, it just blew my mind.
Great.
I have been in crypto since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
But starting coding and understanding the things behind the data is 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the second biggest jump I've done.
Great. I'm happy you did it.
For real, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy. So I sent some Sepolia. Can you check if you have them? You just need to try to launch your account again, and let's see. Not sure, but we can check.
Poi non è neanche, questo c'è anche, capire se c'è, ogni dato un problema. Allora, questo è il problema che deve portare la soluzione, dare la scuola è un evento. Dall'altra parte ci sono delle persone che cercano corsi esami sia ammesso che la scuola di accesso. Allora, io ho ammesso una soluzione, però consente
gas prices changes a lot.
da un
Seems to have a lot of transactions.
lavorando con limitato, basato
All the prices are.
ma che
Yeah, yeah.
è quello
Yeah.
da finale.
Of course, they are fake, otherwise it's real money, it's not a best end anymore. It would be the main memory.
Non sto
Okay. So now, if you run yarn start, you can connect your wallet to the front end. I think you should have MetaMask, right? Yeah. Excuse me?
I run it in a local house.
Yeah, it runs in the local host. You connect. Okay. Did you connect your wallet? Oh yeah, it is compiling. Yeah.
quello sì, però non è detto che magari vabbè, adesso proprio spiegato nessuno.
Yeah, click on it because right now I think you are connected to base Sepolia because yesterday we used base Sepolia and he wants you to switch. So if you click on wrong network, I think it says switch to Sepolia. Yeah, it asks you. Let me.
It should ask you to change to Sequoia. Because if you change the default network, so go ahead and send the code, search for press common key.
Adesso dobbiamo
Search for scaffold.
facciamo che siamo unici.
This one. Scaffold.
Tanto che questo dobbiamo cercare di fare le cose così.
You change the target network to Sequoia.
Ragionare può essere
Yeah, if you go back, and now it asks you, that's the
obiettivamente penso di realizzare
if you go here on MetaMask,
sia un corso
they should have connected
già attuato
essential collections. On MetaMask, if you want, you can have more. For example, you can have a custom.
o già verificato
Yeah, and of course, you need all the information about the custom. But anyway, we need support. So send me these address here because we need to meet the buffer. I will send you some more tokens because we managed to deploy with the account that was generated by Ardot, which is the framework we're using for Solidity. But to meet the Buffalo here or whatever, you need to mint it with your real, let's say, real account on MetaMask, real wallet, not the generated one. So where is it? Keep checking on your front end because it probably uploads faster than the Explorer. Okay. Okay. Now you can go here in my NFTs and mint the NFT. And this one actually goes on chain. Yeah. Did it work? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you have of course to sign the transaction for this.
I need to record audio every day here.
I mean,
Sure, I can learn very fast after doing some practice.
yeah, of course, but don't worry because during the hackathon, if are you going to participate?
Yes.
There are mentors, so you can ask them to help you if you have problems.
In the middle of 2018, I have one exam at university. I go and back.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah, yeah, you can do it.
Just go to the federal.
You the only thing you need to do is submit before the deadline. You can start whatever whenever you want. You can do whatever you want. I mean, the hackathon is very easygoing, and yeah, just need to submit before the deadline. That's the only requirement.
The submission is like this, the same we did now. Yes.
No, for the submission you need to go to Taikai. I think I'm not sure what platform.
That platform.
Yeah, that platform.
Upload all the files, documentation.
You need to put the GitHub repo link. If you have something running inside Vercel, as we are trying to do now we'll see it. We will do it. You need to add the link to Vercel as well, so judges can go there and check your website. Then you need to add, of course, a description, maybe the technology used. It depends on the platform. Yeah, just fill the form, and then you can submit.
Vercel is free or
What?
Vercel?
Yeah, Vercel is free up to a specific amount of requests. So if you don't have much traffic, you can use it freely. Yeah, actually, I have some personal applications running in Vercel, and I'm running them completely free. And if you have a nice application, you want to add the domain, you can get a custom domain, pay for it, of course, and assign it into Vercel. So now I can actually send the buffalo to you. Let's try it. I think it is trying to resolve this. Okay.
In this case, we can make everything NFT now.
Make a I'm going along with this just to have fun with you too, because I'm not sure we will manage to complete the second one, the second challenge. Can you check if you received it?
About 0.0497.
Okay, great. So you have two of them, right? You have two of them.
No, just
Only one, and the other one is.
I have to meet.
Ah, you okay. I hope I sent it to the correct address. Yeah, I think it's the. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have another comment here, which is Yarn Vercel. I ran it and I selected GitHub, so I logged in with GitHub. If you want, I can assist you in this.
Mm-hmm. Great.
For the Versa now,
Yeah. You need your Versa.
just run anything in the Versa. Yeah?
Excuse me?
This command runs everything in the Versa.
When you upload it in Vercel, yeah, you will see all the front end and it is taken from Vercel itself. So try to run it in your machine. I think it will ask you for a way to log in.
In another terminal or the same command, this one will stop working the local.
Yeah, you can close it.
Cioè, bisogna sempre leggere in maniera così. Io questa roba qua la vedo valida ma non prevista. Allora risolvo.
You should then check the guideline because I think you don't need to.
I think I don't have this project.
Mm. The steps to deploy the Versa give you. Let me try it with my own one and see what happens. Let me try with yes. What's the name of your existing project? Okay, no, it's no actually.
No?
Yeah, I think so because it is asking.
Yes, I'm sure it is no.
Yeah. Okay, let's say no.
What is your project name?
Let's call it Speedrun Ethereum Challenge 0. In which directory is your code located? So, yeah, it doesn't give information about that, but since we are trying to, oops, packages, since we are trying to deploy the next app, I think we need to use Next.js. Let me try and see. The project does not exist. Really?
Drag and drop the
Like this. Yeah, a bit too wide maybe.
only Next.js.
Mm. It doesn't like it.
All the project.
Oh, of the project. Check next settings next. No. Let's see if it works.
Ciao, tutto bene? Mi siete già inviato, giusto? Volevo giusto informarti che oggi abbiamo parlato di fees per caldo, abbiamo scelto quello che e abbiamo anche cambiato un sacco di cose perché abbiamo cancellato la possibilità del camper, quindi molto bassa. Stiamo alla tenda, ci facciamo vedere insieme a Chion in inbox, cose, un po' sul caldo della possibilità di spedire tenda e altre cose verso Amazon.
Really?
Ho guardato completamente la configurazione e poi alla fine riesce.
Ah, okay. That's why it wasn't working because they changed the version. So what I asked them and they said that we had to use 1.0.0, but it wasn't updated yet. Because when I copied it, it was 0.1.0.
So we have to work in other versions.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, I think the GitHub repo is updated because it worked as we expected. So here it is still building. It takes a while actually to build Next.js.
But I wait for yours first and then
Yeah, it's not a problem. So this is the link that will be the preview of our project if it will manage to build, which I'm not sure it will, because it depends if it detected that we need to use the Next.js folder.
But you did the intern and you said hold the project.
Yeah, I said all the project. I hope that they put some configuration to specify that it should be only the Next.js folder. Okay, so let me check on Vercel actually. Oh, okay, it works. It's here. It's this one, SE challenge 0. And as you can see, there's the domain. If I click on this, it's not connecting to my local machine anymore, and it is using HTTPS, which is correct. And here we have our app.
Answer yes. Want to modify this setting?
No.
No.
Debug contract. It points to our contract, which is good. So let's see what are the next steps now. I think we just need to submit everything. Okay, we also have yarn test. Run the automated testing function to make sure your app passes. Let's see if it works, because this is the moment of truth, because we cloned it from GitHub and not initialized with the command. So maybe this one won't pass. Let's check. I mean, the tests are run locally, so
What is our version? What is the our version?
that's a good question. Let's see. I think we are outdated. Yeah. Let's try to submit it and see. Okay, here of course it suggests you to change the M file if you want to put it in production. Of course, we won't put in production this challenge, but if you want, you need to change the Alchemy API key. I think they provide it. This one is the Next.js example. Okay, we actually don't have it, but if we want to have a production grade application, of course, we need to change the API key to a real one. Okay. Okay, now we need to verify the contract, because otherwise it's not possible to see what's inside. I think here we can see some transactions, maybe, because we sent. Yeah, this is my contract, of course, and as you can see, there are some transactions, the ones that I sent. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see the NFT that I sent you because I sent it to my contract, the contract that I deployed, not yours.
I have to
Yeah, but I think you meant the other one as well. Maybe, not sure. But anyway, it's not important. So as you can see here, Etherscan already has the contract verified, which may seem strange, but it's not, because what happened behind the scenes is that Etherscan checked for its own database and noticed that our bytecode, the the, uh, the not verified version of our code, is matching, as it says here, with a similar source code. So it takes the source code from there. But to complete the challenge, I think we need to actually run this, which is yarn verify dash dash network. Mm-hmm. The third one, let me check. So yeah, because you are getting it into your smart contract and not mine. As you can see here, there are just two transactions. One is mint item, and one called the function transfer from. So yeah, I sent it to my smart contract here. This is your address, I think. No, this is mine. This is no, the transfer from. Let me check. Transfer to this address, which should be yours. Anyway, it's not important. Let's verify copying and pasting this command in the terminal. Okay. Of course, it says that it is already verified because as we saw, it was already on chain. Excuse me? If you want to log into Versal, you can see your dashboard as I showed you earlier, this one. And you can see all your project. You can click on once, change the settings. For what?
So you already deployed on Versal? Yeah. Cool. And now we're going to verify.
Yeah, we have verified the contract, even if it was already verified because it was found a similar bytecode. This won't happen. If you want to go ahead with these challenges, there will be a point where you need to change the actual Solidity code. So the bytecode generated after the compilation won't match any other bytecode probably inside the Etherscan database, so it won't be verified automatically, and you have to launch yarn verify network Sepolia. But in this case, it was already verified because it was matching another bytecode. Okay, it says flex because we actually did it.
Already verified.
Already verified. And now there's a side quest. If you open here this link, testnets OpenSea, as I was saying before, the OpenSea is probably the biggest marketplace for NFTs. They of course have a testnet as well, because if you want to test and see your NFTs inside OpenSea, they allow you to do so. And it says, of course, make sure you have minted some NFTs on your Versal page. I think let me check if
I have to connect to my wallet.
what?
Yeah, I connected to my MetaTask.
Okay,
I have 3.
let's mean something. Okay, it popped the MetaMask thing. Okay, in the meantime, I can close this instance here because it was running locally. It's not needed anymore because we have it in Versal. I minted the zebra. Nice. Let's go. Okay, I can close this one. And now we can connect to OpenSea using the same wallet. We can log in OpenSea using MetaMask. Oops, I got probably. No, it was the right one. It asks to sign a message. Okay, let's see our collection of NFTs. See if we have it. Yeah, okay, we have it. As you can see, there are many more NFTs I created during my lifetime as a developer. But yeah, this one is the one that we deployed and minted. This belongs to the contract we deployed, and this is the one we minted. Okay, you can see your collection of shiny new NFTs. Let's see if it has some metadata, as we were saying before. Yeah, it has background color, which is blue, and eyes that are googly 100%. Okay. More from this collection. This is the buffalo that I sent to you. It should say that the owner is you. Yeah, owned by F6F512. Okay. Now we can submit the challenge. And here it asks, of course, the deployed URL. So we can go there, take the base URL of our application. And then the testnet contract URL, which I closed because let me. I think there's the contract address here somewhere, or maybe here in the debug contract. Yeah, perfect.
I can see
Hmm?
them.
You saw them? Great. Okay, now for the second link, we need to go to cipolia.etherscan.io /address the address of our smart contract, the one that we deployed, and we can put it here, and then we can submit a challenge. To submit a challenge, I think you need to sign. Yeah, of course. Okay, so the challenge was submitted. Now it will be reviewed. Usually it takes like a few seconds to minutes. And as soon as it is verified, you will see it in your profile. So as I was saying before, if you go on Speedrun Ethereum, you have a lot of challenges. After, I think, the third one, two, three, four, five. No. After the fifth one, you will be added to one of these batches. This one is batch 19 that will start in 25 days. And if you get into the batch, you can get help for all these other challenges, talk with people that are currently doing the Speedrun Ethereum set of challenges, and also do networking if you want. Let's check if it is.
Submission, Sepolia, interesting. I can't create this URL.
You can't?
Yes,
Let me check.
yes, submission. I added my days, some. Which is good. And for these,
No, I just go on your smart contract. You can find the contract with it opens. Oh, perfect. It opens directly this one.
over here,
Basic. Single challenge. It's yeah, minutes. Hours. Actually, they accepted mine.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it's automatic because it's very easy to verify
it happens by the blockchain.
this Is that you mean?
Yes.
I'm not sure how they are checking your code.
I don't know. I think, in the iOS development, my experience, when we upload our product, the application to the Apple Store, we have something the same as this.
Something like
And
this?
yes,
Not yet.
and Apple automatically told us this part of your code is the same as this production somebody posts. And please change this part because they are not unique. They are unique.
Okay.
I think the Apple also use the blockchain something for this.
I don't think they use the blockchain. I think they just check the code in their database.
I don't know.
But yeah, probably is to avoid problems with like people cloning apps for other people. It's not sure how it works actually, but I think it's like that.
Not blockchain.
How do they verify it?
Sometimes, strangely, they ask me to change this part of your code because this is the same as the other productions in the market.
What it could use is when you there is a bytecode yes, that that it's the same code because it has the same functions in the control. So they try to match that file. And,
Usually, we change by adding some copyright things into top of the file.
I think we do an action of the code and check if it matches and if we got something that course it doesn't match anymore. Yeah, that's it. So talking about the thing that you signed, you saw that you signed a message, something in chart, right?
Yes.
So since you have a key pair, which is one private and one public, you can sign with your private key. This is another cool part of the blockchain. General Web3 developing is that you actually have an account already built in your MetaMask. So when you connect to a website like this one, you connect with MetaMask, it's like going to another website and logging with your email and password because you're the only one that can sign messages and connect to the application because you're the only one that has the private key, which is a very strong field that websites can use, for example, to generate sessions, etc. And the fact that you signed a message is because they want to probably distinguish between submissions. And when you sign a message with your private key, that signature, of course, is unique. The private key is unique. And it attests that you really signed that message because you're the only one that knows the private key. So I think that's why they ask us to sign. The same thing happens with OpenSea. They asked us to sign, and probably they asked us to sign to generate a section like JWT or something like that. That's a curiosity.
Okay, guys, I don't think we have time to go through the second challenge. Let me check it, but I think it's too long. Decentralized staking app. Yeah, for this one we should also change Solidity code. Okay. Maybe we can start it, and if there's no more time, we can just stop and We have like I think 40 minutes, something like that. If you want, we can start this.
Decentralized.
This one is a decentralized staking app.
Number one.
Yeah, this is the challenge number one. Let me close some things. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's read this. It says, a superpower of Ethereum is allowing you, the builder, to create a simple set of rules that an adversarial group of players can use to work together. In this challenge, you create a decentralized application where users can coordinate a group funding effort. If the users cooperate, the money is collected in a second smart contract. If they defect, the worst that can happen is everyone gets their money back. The users only have to trust the code. This is actually similar to the crowdfunding platform that Drone did the last day, the other day. We need to build a staker sol contract that collects ETH from numerous addresses using a payable stake function and keeps track of balances. After some deadline, if it has at least some threshold of ETH, it sends it to an example external contract and triggers the complete action, sending the full balance. If not enough ETH is collected, allow users to withdraw, which is another function. Building the front end to display the information and UI is just as important as writing the contract. The goal is to deploy the contract and the app to allow anyone to stake using your app. Use a stake address uint function event to list all the stakes. Uh, this is nice because it is saying that if you implement it correctly, everyone can use your smart contract. They just need to build a front end for it, which is something that actually happens for a lot of smart contracts out there, which is also a strong part of this decentralized world, because anybody can build a front end for a smart contract that it was deployed on the blockchain by someone else. There's a note: if you use named arguments in your event, like event stake address index taker, uint 256 amount, you'll need to update package Next.js app staking page.tsx to reference event parameters by their name instead of numeric indices. So here it is saying that if you are using something that is not like the conventional one, you need to change the page.tsx in the scaffolded project to match this naming system that you're using. The final deliverable is deploying a DApp that lets users send Ether to a contract and stake if the conditions are met. Then you reversal your app to a public web server, and etc. etc. Okay, so now I think we can actually launch this one. Let's try this. Yeah, let's see if it works. Okay, it is installing the dependencies. We passed the step, so yeah, it works.
before we collect longer, why is currently it's not 7?
Okay, it looks like it worked. Okay, now from here we can launch yarn chain as we did before, and yarn deploy. As you can see, everything works like before. And then yarn start, deploying staker. Okay, let's connect to the front end. Okay. Looks like it works. Of course, this one is different from the previous one. We have a staker UI page here. Ah, yeah, of course, I have to disconnect my wallet because I was on Sepolia. And we can grab some funds. And this is the staker contract, the one that we deployed, and the one to which we can send money. But I think we need to, yeah, I think we need to change Solidity code. Okay, now we can go inside the staker.sol file, inside hard.contract, staker.sol. Okay, we have some comments here that we may use. What's there? Ah, yeah, I need to change. I think I need to change the Solidity compiler. And I will be I actually don't remember how to change the Solidity compiler. Anyway, I think it's not a problem because it compiled perfectly. We just need to ignore this one. So here the suggestion is collect funds in a payable stake function and track individual balances with a mapping. Make sure to add stake address your int event and emit it for the front end all staking stub to display. I think the all staking stub is stake events is this one. It should be empty, yeah, of course, because nobody staked. So I will ask you to forgive me, but I'm not a Solidity developer, so I will try with you this implementation. Let's see if there's a suggestion here. Great. So the idea is that you are creating a mapping to track all the balances, all the staking that the users are doing. So the mapping goes from an address to a uint 256. This means that if you access this balances mapping here and you pass an address, you will retrieve the amount that user staked. Okay. And then it says that we should use also a threshold for this contract here. It says 1 ether, which is a lot actually. Yeah, if we can grab as much as we want from the faucet, so it's not a problem. And now it says to write a stake function and test it with the debug contracts tab in the front end. So I think we need to redeploy it because right now probably there's no stake function because I don't see it here. Yeah, as as you can see here, we have only this complete function, which is it belongs to the example external contract, which is the other one that we need to call, I think, to retrieve the funds. So luckily, Cursor is suggesting me how to do it. This is public, of course, because it can be called from the external world, and it is payable because we can send ether to this function. So what happens here is that this is nice actually. We need to check that the message.value, which is the amount of ETH we are sending, is greater than 0. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. The suggestion here is to say cannot stake 0. Then if the amount is enough, we can add the amount to the user's balance. And this is done by accessing the balances mapping with the message sender as the address we want to access to. And we can add message value to the balances. This is just a sum to what the user already staked. That may be 0 or maybe more. And sorry, okay. Your stake function and test it with debug contracts tab in the front end. Need more funds. Need to troubleshoot code. Okay, so the code. Yeah, it also says that with RDAT, I don't know about Foundry, but with RDAT you can use console logs inside this into this console.sol file. It may be useful if you need to debug, of course. The output will appear in your yarn chain terminal, which is great actually. So the goals for this are, they say, do you see the balance of the staker contract go up when you stake? Is your balance correctly tracked? Do you see the events in the stake events tab? So what we are missing right now are the events. Event stake, and they ask to create this event like this. It says that we should change the page.tsx if we do it like this. User stake address event. Let's try with this in case it doesn't show events, we need to change the page, but anyway. Okay, so this is the event. I can put it up here. So if everything worked correctly, we can emit this event by saying emit stake, and we need to pass, of course, the arguments, which are the message sender, because the stake was made by the person that is calling the contract, and a message value, which is the amount that the user actually staked. So I think now we can test it. The thing we need to do, of course, is to deploy again the app, the smart contract. We need to yarn deploy. I think we need to yarn deploy with reset. Yeah, this one, / reset, to create a new deployment. I think I forgot a semicolon here. Okay, it compiled and it deployed. So we can go in our front end, reload the page, and check if we have the stake. Actually, we don't have it. Applying stake at 6 DC. I didn't change the smart contract. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at this example external contract, and we needed to look at the staker smart contract here. So we have our function, the stake function. Let's say that we want to stake 0.1. Okay. Transaction completed successfully. Let's see if it registered the event. I think it is fetching the events right now. No, it doesn't want to work. Let me see what happens inside this page. This one is the stake events. Probably it's this one. Contract name, use scaffold event history. So yeah, here it is using one hook from Scaffoldit, which is part of the set of hooks that we saw yesterday. And is loading. Not sure why it takes so much time. I think we need to change this. Let's see if it works like this amount, as it was suggesting before. Okay, yeah, now it works. Because actually, since in our contract we gave names to these elements here inside the emitted event, we need to retrieve them not as part of an array, but as part of an object. So we are retrieving them by saying dot staker and dot amount. Okay, so we can see that we deposited 0.1. If we go in the staker UI, I expect, to see that it increased. Okay, let's go ahead with this. This was the checkpoint 1. Checkpoint 2, state machine timing. It says, think of your smart contract like a state machine. First, there is a stake period. Then, if you have gathered the threshold worth of Ethereum, there is a success state. Or we go into a withdraw state to let users withdraw their funds. So we need to set a deadline. Now here it is suggesting to set the deadline to the block timestamp gets I think the last block timestamp, which is probably in the last few seconds or minutes, and it suggests us to add 30 seconds. So let's do this. It says smart contracts can't execute automatically. Of course they can't, because this is actually a limitation of the blockchain. You can't execute smart contracts automatically. You have to trigger functions. So every time you need to execute something in a smart contract, you have to make a transaction and pay. So in this case, probably he will go ahead saying that we cannot change the state without doing a transaction, which is actually true. It says you always need to have a transaction execute to change state. Because of this, you will need to have an execute function that anyone can call just once after the deadline has expired. Write your execute function and test it with the debug contracts tab. Check the example external contract.sol for the bool you can use to test it if it has been completed or not. But do not edit the example external contract.sol as it can slow the autograding. Autograding is the process I think they use to understand if everything works correctly. Yeah, it says avoid using block timestamp, but it's not something we care about. So yeah, let's create another function now. This one allows the user to state contract. Um, Okay, so we need to create a function executes public because it should be called from the external. And as they were saying, it requires that the block timestamp is over the deadline. Otherwise, it's not. It won't do anything. And they are also suggesting. Okay, now I'm skipping a part. I'm sorry. If the address.this.balance of the contract is over the threshold by the deadline, you will want to call example external contract complete with value address this balance. So completed true. Okay. Yeah, actually, it is importing it into the constructor here. It is creating an instance of this other smart contract here to use it later. So if everything passed, okay, it looks like this kind of code is already somewhere in GitHub because Cursor knows about that balance. So if we are over the 1 ether that we defined earlier, the threshold. I'm sorry. If we are below the threshold of course is not met. And as Cursor suggests, we need to call the complete function on the example external contract with the value of. This is actually the balance that is inside this smart contract. When you send ether to the smart contract, this will increase. This is not needed. I don't know why Cursor is suggesting it. Okay. If the balance is less than the threshold, you want to set a open for withdraw bool to true, which will allow users to withdraw their funds. So deadline. So what we need to do here is not using this require, because we need to check if the address this balance is over the threshold. If it is, we call this one. If it's not, we need to set a state open for withdraw to true that allows users to get their funds back. So let's delete this one. If yeah, address dot this. Okay. We should have a open for withdraw state here. It starts from false, of course, but here it becomes true if the deadline was passed and if the balance didn't pass the threshold. This allows users to get their money back, actually. Then it says timing. You'll have 30 seconds after deploying until the deadline is reached. You can adjust this in the contract. Create a time left function including public view returns that returns how much time is left. Okay.
function time left. Yeah, we want to check if block dot timestamp is over the deadline. Do we want to? Yeah, we want to return 0. Otherwise, we want to return, yeah, the deadline minus the block dot timestamp. It says the time left will only update if a transaction occurs. You can see the time update by getting funds from the faucet button in the navbar just to trigger a new block. This happens because actually we are running the blockchain locally. So it doesn't mine blocks on its own. It must be triggered. If no transaction is pending, so no transaction wants to get included in a block, of course it won't mine blocks. This is of course different when you are developing on a testnet, for example, because in that case it keeps mining blocks and this block timestamp will change. Okay, let's try to redeploy this one. Let's see it in the front end. Debug contracts, staker. Okay. So this one, the execute one, will set the state. Let's see if we have the state. Okay, yeah. For example, here we have the state open for withdraw. If I click execute, it reverts because deadline is not met. Okay. It says the time left is 29 seconds. I think it's not. Let me grab some faucet from the. Okay, yeah. Since the block wasn't mined, I had to grab some funds from the faucet. So a transaction was triggered, the block was mined, and when I clicked here on this refresh button, it says that it said the time left was 0 because we passed the deadline. If I click execute now, I expect to see this going to through, and it happened. So from now on, everybody can withdraw their funds from this staking app, staking smart contract. Yeah, we can see the time left in the staker UI tab. If enough ETH is staked by the deadline, does your execute function correctly call complete and stake the ETH? Let's see if this one works. So for this, of course, I have to redeploy because we need to reset the timer. Let's refresh. Okay, let's take some funds. Our threshold is 1. Okay. So the time left now is 15 seconds, but we can see that we should have staked some money. Let's see in the staker UI. Okay. Oh no, I staked this amount of whey. I'm sorry, because of course I had to convert it to 10 to the power of 18. And now we can see here the balance is 1 ETH, so the threshold is met. If we call execute, this one is not open for withdraw because actually you can't withdraw the money anymore because we met the threshold. And if we go here, the completed state in the example external contract becomes true. So what happened essentially here is that when I called the execute function, it went to another smart contract and called its complete function that
since was called, it changed this state to true, this completed state to true. So to improve the user experience, set your contract up so it accepts ETH send to it and calls stake. Did you see the receive function with Drone? Maybe you didn't. So the receive function is a special function in Solidity that allows you to send to trigger code, the execution of code upon receiving Ether. So we can go here inside our smart contract, and we can create the receive function to receive it and trigger code. I'm not sure it is written like this, but again, I'm I'm not a Solidity developer. And what it should happen here is that when this smart contract receives some money, it will call this stake function. A stake function, what it does as first thing is checks that the value you sent is more than 0 and updates the balances, as we saw before. Okay, now let's try this. Let's redeploy this smart contract. Okay, let's go to the staker. So what I expect here is that if I send, I hope the time left didn't go to 0. Okay, great. If I send some money to this the staker wallet here, it should trigger the receive function. Now I need to understand how to send money from this burner wallet. Copy address, view QR code, Block Explorer. This grabs funds, take events. Do you know how to do it?
I think that it should trigger the transaction right away.
Yeah, but I want to send money straight to this address. I want to send Ether to this address. I think there's a way to do it.
With the terminal, using the working wallet number or public key, then send to. I think that's the way.
Yeah, maybe, but I think there's something here in the UI as well.
Maybe there.
Where?
You click on
Stake events, Staker UI. Yeah, I mean, I can send money to this one, but I want to do it from my address here. Copy address, this changes everything. This one gets the funds. Block Explorer, I think it doesn't open anything. The faucet. Oh, okay. I think, yeah. Oh my God, what's that? Yeah, destination address is our contract. Amount to send, let's send 1. Let's send it to the smart contract. Okay. Okay, it actually received the money. Let's see if it looks like it didn't work because it didn't update the stake amount. Maybe it's a problem with the time left here. Let me do it again. I think it is not triggering the stake function. This one, maybe this dot stake. No, it doesn't take the value like this, I think. Let's see if catch. Star not payable, which is this one. I'm not sure because I think maybe the faucet thing, because this is coming from F39, which no, this one should be a burner wallet. So this is actually a transaction on chain, and the staker here didn't finish the time left. So, oh no, I'm sorry, guys. I was checking that this you staked section here, but of course I staked nothing. But here you can see 1 ETH, so it actually worked. 1 ETH entered the the application. I think, yeah, we can't see the amount that we staked because I didn't send the money from my account because I couldn't find a way to do it, but I sent them from this address here. So probably if I had a way to connect this address, I could see you staked 1 Ether.
Don't you can with that menu and changing the partner wallet?
No, you can't. No, because this actually is the faucet. It's the same thing as clicking here, grab funds.
Well, if you check the transaction ID and you enter that address, you should see this ticket.
Yeah, but actually I see that something was withdrawn from here. The problem is that I can't see you staked to 1 because I'm not connected with that address, but I'm connected with mine. So yeah, probably there's a way to do it. It's not a problem right now. We can trust it worked. If we go there and click select, execute, I'm sorry. Yeah, we need to make the time left goes to 0 by mining another block. If we click execute, we can see that probably this one went to true. Okay, it worked. So let's go back to this. Sidequest can execute get called more than once, and is that okay? So here it asks if we can call the execute function more than once, and if it's okay. Actually, we can. Is that okay? If it's asking, probably no, but we should think about it. And it asks if we can stake and withdraw freely after the deadline. It should not happen. So let's try to stake 1 after the deadline. It actually worked, so we need to check in the code if we pass the deadline. Stake like this, require block.timestamp. Okay. And etc. So I think we are out of time. But yeah, if you want, you can start from the checkpoint 3 and go ahead by yourself. As you saw, it's not super hard. You just need to know a little bit of Solidity that you did with Drone. It's pretty easy. And here, for example, there's a link to the Solidity documentation. So if you have problems, you can find these kind of links in the page. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for following.